Tuned into the Boom Room, the livest show in fantasy. Yeah. Welcome to host Walt, Igler, Beat It Fantasy League. Welcome to the Boom Room, had to get in tune, rocking with the best. Welcome to the Boom Room, had to get in tune, roster is a mess. Welcome to the Boom Room, had to get in tune, in it for the checks. Welcome to the Boom Room, had to get in tune, in it for respect. Few things to address.
Welcome to the Boom Room. I am your host, Vikki. Yeah, I'll be sitting in for Walt. Again, for the consecutive week. Listen, Walt would like to extend his sincerest apology. He really wanted to be here, but it was really a scheduling conflict this week. Look, he is not ducking you, dudes. He really has a lot of shit to get off his chest, and he can't wait to be back in this seat. So until then, you got your girl for another week. All right, let's get into it. First up, we got Machiavellians versus Whoopin' That Ass. Tone coming into this after snapping his 3-game losing streak last week in that shootout against Bodybag. Mac looking to keep the momentum going, with Puka back in his lineup this week. But that didn't last long. Puka getting ejected early in the first half after throwing a punch and ending his game with only 2 points. Stroud with another bad game. Has really been struggling since losing 2 of his receivers, and not much productions elsewhere in Tone's lineup. But Corey, on the other hand, entering the game on a 2-game losing streak, with his biggest outburst of the season, dropping 188, 29 from Kamara, 30 from Wilson, 27 from Chase Brown, and getting at least 14 from all his skill players. With this win, WTA controls his own destiny the rest of the way. Impressive win, Corey. Next we got TNT versus Arizona Ron. TNT riding in on a 2-game winning streak, while Arizona has lost his last 2. Ron with maybe his season on the line here in this all-important matchup. What? He what? No way! Riverboat leaves an injured player in his lineup. Again! Is this a 10-team league or a 9-team? Wait, I forget. Oh, never mind. TNT jumps out to an early lead, but Jackson Smith Njiba says, bro, I gotcha, dude. JSN goes off for a season high. 39 points and a solid performance from Kareem Hunt carries Riverboat over the threshold. TNT only getting a combined 8 points from Kyler and Marv Jr., and J.K. Dobbins was the only one who showed up to play. With that loss, TNT is still only a game out of first place, as the race this year has never been any tighter. This win by Riverboat Ron put him right back in the smack of things. Next up, we got the return of the Jedi versus El Cajinos. The Jedi sitting in first place despite losing 4 of their last 5 games. And Cajinos, although outscoring the Jedi for the season, sitting at the bottom of the league at 3-6. Dame, led by 39 points from Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley?
Who beats one man, spins past another, leaps over a third, and comes down at the 30.
What was that? I've never seen that move, and I've been watching football all my life. No one's ever done this.
Wow.
He hurdles a guy backwards. How do you jump over a guy backwards?
He did.
Did you see this? Barkley, with what may have been the highlight of the year. 19 from Eckler, and another 19 from the skinny Batman rounds out Dame's team. Cajinos, led by Josh Allen with 33, but that was pretty much it. Tyreek, with another subpar performance. Haven't scored more than 14 since week 1, Kev leaving some points on the bench that would have won him the game. Dame squeaks out, another one to stay on top of the division. Kev got some work to do, but is very much alive. Next we got Japanese versus Five. Five, coming into this with a 2-game winning streak, looking to get back into his division race. Julian, also on a 2-game winning streak, looking to do the same. Well, something has to break. 5, led by Lamar Jackson's 34 and Devon Achane with 32. But, A.J. Brown leaves the game with an injury with 5.6 points. Waddle with 7, and Xavier Worthy with -1 point doesn't bode well for 5. Dre, looking like you got a wide receiver problem there, buddy. Jabroni with 27 from Daniels, 24 from his defense, and Cade Otton with his third straight 20-point game with 22 rounds out the leaderboard for that Jabroni. 5, leaving 19 points on his bench from Ray Davis, would have won him the game. Tough break, Dre. Julian now sits tied up top. Next up, we have the Lincoln Legends versus Put'em in a body bag in what turned out to be a nail-biter. The Legends, led by the suddenly on-fire Joe Burrow, with 43. 19 from Pollard and Mooney, and Ceedee leaving the game with an injury, but still putting out 16. Body bag, led by his receivers, both Kupp and Jefferson, giving him 22 to answer Burrow. Downs with 12, 20 from his defense. Jordan Love with only 16, leaving this to be a close one. But the costly decision this week is Tim playing the Broncos defense against that powerful Ravens team. Baltimore putting up 41 points on the Broncos, leaving them with -3 fantasy points. That turned out to be the difference in the game. Tough loss, Legends. Nice win, body bag. And finally, the game of the week, Negro Realtor versus the Higher Power. The winner will have a slight edge in the tie-breaking standings for best record in the league. Seth, hearing the cries last week telling him it's okay to cut Patty Mahomes after his high trade demands, says, "Damn it, I am doubling down." That Negro called Jalen Hurts at 3:59 p.m. and told Jalen to go sit on the pine. I am riding with Mahomes on Monday night. T, shocked but pleased by the decision, is led by Zay Flowers with 31. Despite only getting a combine 3.5 points from Ertz, and McNichols was able to put out a respectable performance. Bijan with 21, 15 from Neighbors, 20 from his defense, and what may have been the play of the week with Cortland Sutton, dropping 26, giving the Higher Power a nice lead going into that Monday night game. Mahomes, after being called out, put up his season high, 32.85 points. But that wasn't enough as T was able to hang on with the victory. Negro, now dropping 2 in a row, no longer sits up top by himself. The Higher Power, without his second-round pick running back since week 3, and without his best wide receiver the last 4 weeks, still somehow find himself atop of the league. Nice win, T. Boom! Okay, welcome back, gang. It's your girl, Vikki. Or the virtual bitch, as that Negro called me. Anyway, let's get into it. This week, we're gonna talk about the playoff standing. Do you see this? This shit is crazy. We have 6 teams tied for best record this late into the season. 2 per division. The balance. Are we sure we need to shuffle the divisions? Our data shows that we have never had 6 teams tied for best record at this point. This is shaping up to be the tightest finish since 2022, when Negro finished 2 games out of best record, but missed the playoffs. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that was classic, perfect storm for that Negro. With 5 games remaining in the season, Tone and Kev, sitting at the bottom, but only 2 games out from the playoffs, are very much alive. Well, Mac might have a tougher hurdle, as Jamar just dropped a 60 burger on Thursday night. Well, we'll get into that next week. Riverboat Ron, with the lucky win last week, has Christian McCaffrey expected back this week, puts Riverboat in play for a playoff spot. 5, in the same spot as Riverboat, has a much tougher schedule down the stretch with T, Tim, Corey, body bag left to see. TNT and Lincoln Legends, both sitting 1 game out from best record and both very much in control on how they will finish. Neither one has to play each other again, thanks to the scheduling gods, but both having similar strength of schedule down the stretch, it's too close to call how they will finish. And finally, the top 6 who sits on the throne at the moment. But it's really a 4-team race, as two of these teams are a mirage. Negro Realtor and the Return of the Jedi. Negro just don't have the wide receiver play right now, and he has to play the right tight end each week. Dame, well, is the lowest scoring team in the league. That shit usually catches up with you. However, both teams have a favorable schedule down the stretch. We think they both will still make the playoffs. Now, the Big Four. Let's start with Body Bag. We'll call them the boom or bust. They can give you 180 any week and turn around and give you 105 next week. We like their roster, but can they win 3 in a row when it matters? Whoopin' that ass, or as we call him, the sleeping giant. No one ever talks about this team, but when you poke the bear, you poke the bear. Corey is constantly under the radar, but here he stands. We love his running backs. The question here, is that enough? We like his team, but he's gonna have to play the right lineup every week to take the crown. Next, the jabroni, or the reigning champs. Does he has what it takes for a repeat? He very well may. Solid team across the board, but just like Corey, can he set that right lineup each week? He has the options, which is a problem everyone would love to have with their fantasy team. And finally, the higher power. This team has essentially been playing only 8 players each week since he lost Pacheco. Then he turns around and loses the number 1 wide receiver at the time, and yet Tee sits here at the top. With 2 of his best players set to return soon, makes him a dangerous team. But Tee just had yet another key injury, this time taking his QB. That now becomes his biggest question mark. Can Tee find the quarterback play down the stretch to make a run? That remains to be seen. Now, with all that said, this Thursday during the Eagles-Commanders game will be the trade party. Will any of these top 6 teams make a move? Will anyone make a move for the stretch run? It's so close. Can't wait to see who retools their team for the final run. Boom. Okay, before we get into it, we see the smack board. Still on fire, and we love it. There is some chatter we could have addressed this week, but I am gonna leave that for Walt. As said, he has a lot to get off his chest. We just gonna leave it at that. Once again, thanks for letting me host another episode. It's much appreciated. Now, we know what time it is? Boom, boom, the game of the week. Now, this was a hard one. We got 4 of the top 6 teams going head-to-head this week. Either one of them could have been game of the week. But we got a nice sleeper matchup in the making for you, with their seasons on the line. On one side, we have 5. On the other is Riverboat Ron. Yes! We calling this the Battle of the Bastards, with both teams sitting at 4 and 6. The loser will have a tough-ass road to the playoffs. The winner will be right in the thick of things. The irony, both teams love that Hurts trade. I bet Jalen Hurts would look good this week in your lineup after Lamar put up that almost 50 burger. I kid. Not really. Can't wait to talk about this next week on the Boom Room.
In it for respect, few things to address. D5 think he fly, he the Jets. Always number 1, now opposite is Seth. Put JR in body bag, I must confess. Some owners play checkers, Kajinos play chess. Me, T, and do really like Clay, Dre, and Steph. Don't do too much talking, they still wanna press. The main ones that's talking, they team don't impress.